In 2015, there was a big report that came out of the National Academy of Medicine that defined the term diagnostic error. And so this was trying to bring a lot of different ideas together to talk about when a patient either has a diagnosis missed or has a wrong diagnosis.
The first problem is that most people, and clinicians included, look at the result of a test and they think that that's the answer. But that's not necessarily the answer. A positive test result doesn't mean the person necessarily has the disease. That is a basic aspect of diagnosis and test interpretation that a lot of people miss or forget about.
As a person who develops and validates these tests, I want and like a provider to know that there is some variability in our ability to say definitively this is positive, definitively this is negative. We have false positives, false negatives. They could be due to any number of factors, interferences in the test. So if you have a 90% specificity rate, there's a possibility that 10% of the time you're going to get the answer wrong.
From a psychological perspective, games are really important for learning because they can provide an opportunity for hopefully fun repetition. And that repetition can train a person to make accurate judgments much more quickly than they would otherwise.
We thought maybe that kind of sounds like something we wouldn't be able to do. Maybe we're not game people, but I like to figure things out. I'm a problem solver. After I made the prototype, we shared it with Laura and she provided some feedback. We made some little tweaks and then we decided, yeah, this could actually work.
One of the first things that we realized was going to be difficult about developing this game is that these clinical judgments are hard. When you first start driving a car, it's difficult. You have to think through every step. The more you drive a car, the more every single one of those motions becomes more automatic and thus easier. The reason why that's important is because clinicians are almost never practicing medicine in circumstances where they have a lot of time to stop and think.
Game development is a way to kind of crash together logic and art and creativity into one job.
We had already done kind of a lot of the visual research earlier on, so we had a lot of the visual styles and things like that. But we did look a lot at precedent games or just educational tools. It's not even necessarily games.
Playing the bird game was a humbling experience at first.
When I first walked into the bird game, I was kind of trying to figure out what was going on, but as I was progressing through it, I actually really enjoyed it, just because I've never really been introduced to the whole idea of like pre-test probability.
Considering how the game has affected my gut reaction and to trust that gut feeling or not, that's a work in progress, I would say.
The game helps you realize that tests aren't always as useful as you think they're going to be. Again, I think you're kind of searching for someone to just give you the 100%, like this is what's going on, and tests are helpful, but they don't do that.
Even at the very best medical schools, I think we underteach diagnostic stewardship and the interpretation of test results. I think the bird game has enormous potential to improve the practice of medicine.